Hey everyone, it's Robin Adams here from chimpanzers.com and the Mailchimp Answers Facebook group. Hope you're having a fantastic day today. I just wanted to do a quick update on a number of things that are happening, have happened, will happen on Mailchimp over the last few weeks and moving forward. And just thought I'd put them all together in one video, bash it out so that you guys could get some insights and understanding of the where, the how, the what, of what's going on. So I'm going to cover three things in this video. I'm going to cover the pricing change that's recently been announced. I am going to talk about the calendar function that you can now see. Some of you can see, and hopefully all of you at some point will be able to see in your campaigns section. And then I'm going to talk about groups and tags, which I always seem to be talking about, but I thought I'd give you an update there. So, pricing. Now, if you are on a legacy paid account, which means that you basically had a paid for Mailchimp account before May of 2019, when they changed all the pricing, you probably received an email or will be receiving an email very shortly announcing a price increase from Mailchimp. Woohoo! Pricing increase! Yay! Or maybe not now. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that a pricing increase is fantastic and you should be celebrating it. But there's a couple of things that you need to kind of like look at, and I'm certainly focusing on this pricing increase in this manner. And that's firstly, Mailchimp are not actually changing any of the structure of your accounts. So if you remember back in May and June, there was a whole load of everyone shouting and everyone jumping up and down because they moved it so that free accounts could only have a certain number of audiences or lists at the time. You could only have a certain number of people, and there was a lot of furore about the changes that Mailchimp put in place. Some of them right, some of them probably undeserved, as it were. But now Mailchimp are putting prices up for everyone else. Now, the fact of the matter is they're not going to change your account. So you can still have, if you've got a legacy account with 500 audiences, you can still have 500 audiences. Personally, I would start thinking about reducing them, but there's nothing stopping you from doing that. And this price change is not going to affect the functionality of your Mailchimp account. All they're going to do is actually charge you more. Now, again, I'm not saying that this is great news, but you've got to bear in mind the fact that Mailchimp haven't raised prices on these legacy accounts for a long time. They're claiming about 10 years, and I've got no reason to disbelieve them. I can't remember seeing a Mailchimp email, I had a quick look back, saying that prices were going up. So it's been a long time, and in a world where we're all used to inflation and pricing going up over time, it's quite reassuring to actually have a tool that hasn't changed pricing at all for that length of time. Now, they're claiming that they need this money to reinvest in the development of the platform and things moving forward. And to be quite frank, I've got no reason to disbelieve that. They've not shown me anything. I've not seen anything to say that they're not trying to develop, they're not trying to grow, and they're not trying to reinvest in the platform. So, at the moment, I've got to take that on faith. I am taking it on faith. Whether you want to or not, it's down to you. Another thing to bear in mind is the fact that these price increases, it's not changing structure, it's not limiting the number of accounts or anything like that. Basically, it's just price going up, and I think, it's not a massive amount, it's not a huge hill of beans, essentially. So we're not talking about a business-killing price increase. I mean, I worked out, roughly speaking, if you've got about 10,000 people on your list, you're probably going to be paying maybe £12, £15, the same amount of dollars, increase on a monthly basis. Now, one would hope that we're all in a business that if prices go up, by £10 or £15 on one of the tools that we use, that's not going to kill our business. It's not going to cause us a major problem. So yes, we're going to grumble. We've got every right to grumble whenever prices go up. But you know what? We're using their tools. I've always thought that their tools are very good value for money, and even with the price increase, I still believe that they are still very good value only for the benefits that we actually get for using it and what they actually add to all of our businesses, when fundamentally email marketing doesn't actually cost us anything, like postage. We've got to pay for stamps and printing. Email marketing, it's the time and effort that we put in. So the actual cost of the platform, from that point of view, I accept that as a business cost. So I'm not too worried about that. And if you have got a large list, then the fact of the matter is that you're probably with Mailchimp for a specific reason. And also, to be quite frank, if you've got a large list, now might be a good time to think about cleansing it, because obviously if you've got a large list, the percentage increase is going to impact you a lot more in terms of total, price increase. But the chances are you've probably got a lot of people on your list who are either dead or not opening emails or not engaging. Now's the time to get rid of them, because if you get rid of them, your prices are going to come down. I've done this with a couple of clients recently. I've got another one coming up very soon indeed, where I went for a whole cleansing activity with them, cleansing campaign, and they basically almost reduced their Mailchimp costs by half without actually changing the number of people who are engaged in their email list, because all we did was just got rid of all of the useless people, all of the crap, all the people who weren't interested, weren't engaged, weren't opening emails. We gave them ample opportunities to stay on. We then moved them away, we archived them, we're no longer paying for them. It reduced their business costs. So if you are in that situation, now's probably a good time to actually do it. Now, I'm not here to, I'm quite vocal at times. If Mailchimp do something I don't agree with, I'm quite happy to say I don't agree with it. On this one, it's a price increase. What are you going to do? Kind of like, you can sit there, you complain, but ultimately you're the ones who are using the tool, just like myself, and you've got to make a decision. Yes, there are other tools out there. They're now slightly more competitive. I'm sure they're going to make a little noise about the fact that they're even more competitive than Mailchimp. But you've got to remember, if you're paying 20, 30, 40 pounds or dollars a month to use a tool, and another tool is making it saying that they're going to be $5 cheaper or £10 cheaper, ultimately the cost of moving from one tool to the other is going to be a lot of time, effort, aggravation and hassle. And from that point of view, it may not actually be worth your while. And I know of a number of people who've gone and left Mailchimp and have come back because the other tools didn't actually give them what they need. So don't want to spend too much time onto it, but kind of like, the fact of the matter is Mailchimp prices are changing. Ultimately, as Mailchimp users, we've just got to like it or lump it, as it were. I would suggest, however, that yes, we can grumble and we're not happy about it, but ultimately it's not going to have a massive impact in terms of what we're doing with the platform. So I'll be interested to hear what your thoughts are on Mailchimp's pricing change. The second thing I want to talk about is something new that they've recently brought out. Now, it's not appearing on all accounts yet, but this is the calendar function. All right. So one of the things that I've always been really interested in Mailchimp, how they're going to develop it, is the campaign listing page. So basically, whenever you create any type of campaign, an automation, landing page, a standard email campaign, post-style campaign now, or even social posts, they all appear in a list on the same page. But it's not what I would say is the most efficient use of space. The way that it's actually laid out, you only get like 4 or 5 campaigns visible on a page, and then you've got to scroll. And if you do lots of campaigns, lots of social posting, it actually becomes a bit of a pain in the arse to do. And I really hope Mailchimp, this is something that they're going to be looking at. But what they have done recently is they've just pushed out a calendar view, which basically allows you to look at the various campaigns that you've created and see them appear on a particular calendar. Now, unfortunately, at the moment, I don't believe you can actually click in the calendar and select a campaign and edit it or replicate it or anything like that. But at least you've got a slightly different view. And although the functionality isn't really there at the moment in terms of using it, may change by the time that this video and you watch this video, but from that point of view, there's not a huge amount of things that you can do. It shows to me that they're thinking about it. They're starting to see how can they change the way that we view the campaigns in the Mailchimp template, in the Mailchimp kind of like layout, so that we can actually see more campaigns, and it's easier for us to segment, to identify, to do the various things that we've actually got and find the campaigns we need to. Because if you're now doing all the things I've talked about, landing pages, social posts, postcard campaigns, email campaigns, automated the list goes on. You need to organise those and have a structure for those and be able to find them quickly and easily. And at the moment, the template doesn't make it easy to do that. So this is a step in the right direction, but probably not something that's going to have a huge impact on you. And then finally, tags and groups and tags and groups. Probably the most asked question in the Mailchimp Answers Facebook group is all about segmentation, about doing groups and tags, and should you use one or the other. Now, I'm kind of like have been quite vocal in the past about using groups. I've set up a lot of my databases using groups. I've really found them great, and a lot of my automations and setup are all based around groups. And obviously tags came along, and it was like, why couldn't they have called groups tags and just not actually developed tags? But now looking into a little bit more, I can see that there are certain limitations from a coding point of view, nothing that you or I would really worry about, but there are something in it that limits the potential for groups, and that's why they brought out and started to push tags. Now, on the Mailchimp grapevine, I'm lucky enough I get to chat to one or two people in the Mailchimp partner team and get an insight into where things are going, or at least get a good feel. I see that tags are going to be something they're going to start pushing more and more. So if you're starting out fresh and you've got the option of choosing between groups and tags, then now I would start to suggest you look at using tags to segment your database and not groups. Now, having said that, there's a couple of big caveats to that. First of all, if you're using groups now and your system's set up to groups, don't worry about changing. Mailchimp are not going to get rid of groups. It doesn't make sense. There's too many people using groups at the moment. Okay, so that's the first thing. Secondly, what I'm now kind of like recommending to a lot of my clients is that it doesn't matter whether you use tags or groups. What matters is that you use one of them and you know how you're going to automatically assign someone to either a tag or a group from a form that they fill in, be that on your website, a landing page or whatever. And that then actually comes down to the tools that you're using to assign to a group or to a tag. So, for example, someone visits the homepage on your website, there's a big box there that says, put your email address in and I'll send you a free report. They put their email address in. Now, you want to segment that person. You want to assign them to a group or a tag which says homepage report request, and then obviously you can trigger an automation based on that, and that's how you segment your database and how you can send different lead magnets and different reports to different people depending on the form that they've filled in. But that's actually, whether it's tags or groups, is down to the technology of the form. So for example, I use Gravity Forms. They have just launched the ability to use tags as well as groups. So I'm now starting for people who I use Gravity Forms with to use that. On landing pages, this was something I did a video on very recently. Landing pages, they can now tag people on landing pages in Mailchimp. That's fantastic. But there's a lot of tools out there that haven't got tags implemented at the moment. And if you only got the ability to use groups, then I would recommend that you use groups. It's down to the tool that you use. Once you've got that tool in place, then you're fine moving forward. So if you're starting completely fresh and you've got no worries at all about the tool that you're using, I could recommend you go down tags route. But if you haven't got a tool at the moment, or the tool that you're using only allows groups, don't worry, you're not going to miss out on anything. Groups are still going to be an important part of Mailchimp moving forward. They're probably not going to be a huge amount of development behind groups, to be quite frank, looking at what they're looking for tags. But you know what? It's still going to allow you to segment your database. And the way that the majority of people use Mailchimp, they don't see Mailchimp as being a leading edge technological tool. It's about something that works and allows, and basically works for them and allows them to do their email marketing and to build and segment a database. So there you go. So just a couple of quick updates on Mailchimp, an insight from me in terms of what I think is going on and where it's going. Hope you found the video useful. If you haven't done so already, check out Mailchimp Answers, the Facebook group, which is the biggest and best community of Mailchimp users in the world, as far as I'm concerned. And obviously check out chimpanswers.com if you haven't, for other blogs and articles and interesting stuff which will help you make the most of Mailchimp. My name's Robin Adams, I'm the Mailchimp guy, and I will catch up with you very soon. Bye for now.